Good morning class. How are you all? Hope all of you are fine. Let we start today our third chapter, that is metals and non-metals. Now before discussing metals and non-metals, let's discuss something about elements. That what are elements? As you know, you have studied in your previous classes, that is class 8, that we have different elements. We will categorize them into metals and non-metals depending on their physical properties and chemical properties. Now in this chapter we will study about metals and non-metals. So in this class 9th, in the previous class 9th, you have studied about various elements in which some are classified as metals and some are non-metals depending on their properties, because we have different type of elements and we categorize them into metals and non-metals depending on the different properties, and the properties are further divided into two types, that is physical properties and chemical properties. Now firstly we will discuss about physical properties. So what are physical properties? What do you mean by physical properties? Physical properties are those which we can observe physically, that means shining, appearance, structure, rigidity, all are comes under the category of physical properties. So activity 3.1, which is given in our textbook, take samples of iron, copper, aluminium and magnesium. These all are metals: iron, copper, aluminium and magnesium. Note the appearance of each sample. Firstly we will note the appearance of each sample. Clean the surface of each sample by rubbing them with sandpaper. Then clean them with sandpaper. What will happen? What will you observe? You will observe a shiny appearance. Metal turn it into its pure state and have a shining surface. So the metals having shiny surface, this property is called metallic luster. So the metals have the property of metallic luster. They possess metallic luster. Luster is the shining appearance that exists on the metals. Now activity 3.2, which is given in your textbook, take samples of iron, copper, aluminium and magnesium. Again we are taking the samples of different metals. Now try to cut them with knife. Try to cut them with knife. What will happen? Because as we know, some of the metals are rigid, some of the metals are hard and some of the metals are soft. But here we will study about the metals which are soft. So try to cut them with a sharp knife. What will happen? Take a sodium metal and handle it with great care, because sodium is why we are handling it with great care, because sodium is a soft metal. It is a exceptional case. Generally the metals are hard in nature, but sodium is the metal which is the soft. Dry it using filter paper. Try to cut it with knife. What will you observe? You will observe that it can be easily cut with knife. The result is that metals are generally hard, but sodium and potassium are the exceptions. These are the soft metals that can easily be cut with knife. So exceptions are always there. Generally the metals are hard enough, they cannot be cut with knife, but the sodium and potassium are the soft metals that they can be cut with knife easily. Now the activity 3.3, which is given in the textbook, take pieces of iron, zinc, lead and copper. These are the examples of metals. Now try to hammer them, try to beat them. Place the metal on a block of iron or a block of and strike it with hammer. You will beat them with a hammer. What you observe, the result is that some metals can be beaten into thin sheets. If we are hammering the metals, if we are beating the metals, then the metals automatically changes into thin sheets. Then this property is called malleability. This is the next property, that is called malleability. So malleability is the property by virtue of which metals can be drawn into thin sheets. Okay. Now the next property, activity 3.4, which is given in our textbook. In this, the ability of metals to be drawn into thin wires is called ductility. Now the next property we have ductility. What do you mean by ductility? The property of the metals due to which they can be drawn into thin wires, that is called the ductility. So next we have ductility. As we know, exceptions are always there. So we have a metal, that is the gold. This is the gold. Gold is the most ductile metal. A wire of 2 kilometer length can be drawn from 1 gram of gold. How much length? 2 kilometer. You know that. So 2 kilometer length of wire can be drawn only for from 1 gram of gold. How much 1 gram of gold? So it's a most ductile metal. It is because of their malleability and ductility. Metals can be given different shapes. Some of the metals are used to make cooking vessels. That is why they are used to making cooking vessels. That is why they are used to make ornaments. That is why they are used to make new articles. Let us do an activity to find out answer. Now the activity 3.5. In this activity, take an aluminium or copper wire, climb it on stand, fix a pin to free end of wire using wax. Heat the wire with a spirit lamp. What do you observe after some time? See the activity. This is a clamp stand. Here we have a metallic wire. It's a free end of wire. It's a metal wire. This is a Bunsen burner. We are heating the wire using the wax. What do you observe after some time? Does the metal wire melts or not? Does the metal wire melts or not? As you know that metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. This activity shows that metals are good conductors of heat and have high melting point. This is the important line, that metals have generally high melting points, but exceptions are there. Silver and copper are best conductor of heat. Silver and copper are best conductor of heat. That is why most of the cooking vessels are made up of copper and silver. Lead and mercury are poor conductors of heat. They do not conduct heat. Lead and mercury are the poor conductors of heat. Now the next is, do metal conduct electricity? Yes, why not? Metals always conduct electricity. Because why metals conduct electricity? Because metals have electrons, and electrons are only the charge carriers which can conduct electricity. So that's why metal can conduct electricity. Now the activity 3.6, which is given in textbook, shows that wires that carry current in homes have a coating of polyvinyl chloride, that is PVC, or a rubber like material. Have you seen that the wires which we are used in wiring of homes, that they have a covering of rubber like material, and that rubber like material is called polyvinyl chloride, that is PVC. It is an insulating material. What is an insulating material? Insulating materials are those which do not conduct electricity. So the covering of copper wire is done through insulating material, that is of PVC, that is polyvinyl chloride, so that we cannot get any shock or current. That is why it is used to save our lives. What happens when metal strikes a hard surface? Do you know? Whenever a metal strikes a hard surface, what will happen? The result is that they produce sound. Obviously, when metal strikes a hard surface, it produces a sound on striking hard surfaces, and this is the property that is said to be sonorous. This is the property said to be sonority. So metals produce sound on striking with hard surfaces. This is called sonority. This is called sonority. Okay, students. So these all are the physical properties of metals.